We'll start here in Ontario. The election campaign is in its final hours, and affordability is front and center in this campaign. The Bank of Canada hiked interest rates today, now at 1.5%, their basis rate. As inflation rises and the cost of living soars, which party has the best plan to help Ontarians through the tough economic times? Prabmeet Sarkaria is an Ontario Progressive Conservative candidate. He's in Toronto. In Brampton, Gurratan Singh is running for the NDP. John Fraser is under the Liberal banner. He's with us from Ottawa. And over in Huntsville, Ontario Green candidate Matt Richter. Hi, everybody. I appreciate you making the time for this tonight. I know that it's a busy time for you, so just a quick warning. There's 4 of you. We're hoping to get everyone in a few times, so just try and keep that in mind. I know everyone wants some time to get their points across, but hopefully we can have a good discussion tonight. I wanted to start with you, Mr. Sarkaria, and I want to ask you about the moves that your government has made in temporarily cutting the gas tax by 5.7 cents a litre, the fuel tax by 5.3 cents a litre for 6 months. Are you going to extend that, A, given what we're hearing from the Bank of Canada about inflation and that it's not even hit its peak yet? And B, if you do extend it, because the first cuts already cost provincial coffers $645 million, is it fiscally prudent to do that?
Well, thank you very much for having us on here. You know, since we've been elected, the government's focus has always been, how do we put more money into your pocket? That's where we made that first commitment to lower the gas tax by about 10 cents, and we are going ahead with lowering that gas tax. You know, that's why we put $125 per vehicle back into the hands of the people that earned that money in the first place, and it's why we are to lower taxes for those earning under $50,000. So the government has a because we recognize that fuel costs have gone up. That's why we introduced the fuel tax cut. We'll continue to listen to the concerns of everyday Canadians as and current discussion. We're putting it at the door of the high price costs. But when you compare our unfortunately, both the NDP and Liberal parties want to increase the cost of gas on families. So we've always been against that. We've always fought more money to the people, and we'll continue to listen to the residents. We have been, and ensure that as a government since day one, putting more money back into your pockets has been something that we've been committed to, and we'll continue to commit to that.
Okay, I just really quickly want to follow up because unfortunately, some of what you said there, the audio was cutting in and out. It's the connection, I think, the internet connection. So I couldn't hear the full extent of your answer. I just want to be clear and just press you once more on the fiscal sort of prudence of a move like this. I understand the desire to put money back in Ontarians' pockets, but it is costing more than $600 million to do that. Your government has spent a whole lot more than maybe Ontarians would have thought you would spend 4 years ago when you were running in the last election. Is it fiscally prudent to do what you're doing? And I didn't, and my apologies again if it's the connection, but are you willing to consider extending it if inflation keeps rising?
Well, one of the things that, in comparison to 2018 to 2022, we actually have 550,000 more people working today paying taxes than we did then. So we're going to continue to grow our economy, bigger paychecks for people. We've landed significant investments in electric vehicle manufacturing over the past 14 months. So we're going to continue to grow the economy. But, as a party, as a government, we've always been focused on putting more money into your pockets, like when we return license plate fee stickers. And, with respect to the gas tax, we'll continue to listen to the concerns of everyday Ontarians as, times have been tough. I've been hearing it at the door. And that's why they do appreciate our government committing to lowering that gas tax. And we'll continue to listen to people as we have been since day one and, stay true to our word of putting more money back into everyone's pockets.
Okay, I take from that you would consider extending it. Mr. Singh, I want to move on to something your party is pledging to help deal with the affordability issue so many Ontarians are facing, and that's around universal dental care and pharmacare. Why would you duplicate stuff the federal government is already promising to do?
Well, first off, thank you for having us on today. I guess the idea is this. We've been door knocking and talking to folks. They've described the really deep pain a lot of folks are facing right now because of their inability to access dental care. And the reality is there's so many folks who have issues with their mouth that could have been prevented if they had access to being able to see a dentist. Now, my brother's done amazing work in being able to provide dental care federally, but we in the NDP provincially want to expand that, want to build off of that and make sure that any single individual in our province who needs to get access to dental care has the ability to do so. Because it is so wrong right now that there are folks in my riding in Brampton East, I'll talk about folks who actually go overseas to get their dentist or to get their teeth fixed or to see a dentist because they can't afford it here locally. And it's a story we're hearing too often of people who have severe pain in the mouth continually because of the inability to access a dentist. So we're not talking about replicating, we're talking about expanding, we're talking about growing, because we in the NDP believe that healthcare should include our mouths, our eyes, and our mind. To have a truly universal healthcare system is expanding healthcare, and that's what we in the NDP are fighting for. We get that folks are struggling right now, and they're hurting a lot of folks because they can't afford mental health care or dental care or eye care or more. We in the NDP are fighting to expand healthcare to make sure.
I just have to follow up and challenge you. And just so our viewers know, who may not know, your brother is the leader, Prabmeet Singh, of the federal NDP. And part of the deal that he struck with the Liberals, the federal Liberals, to keep them in power, included exactly what you're saying, universal dental care. I'm not really sure still from your answer how what you're proposing is not duplicative. I mean, they didn't get universal pharmacare from the federal Liberals, but they did get universal dental care. There's a 3-year plan that's already been kicked off and allotted for in the last budget. Why would you duplicate? Why would you make Ontarians pay extra for something that they're already paying for as a federal taxpayer?
So we're actually expanding the eligibility for folks who need to access dental care by making sure that anyone who earns, any household that earns under $200,000 can access dental care, as opposed to the federal plan, which is under $90,000. So we're talking about expanding that. We're talking about building upon that work that's been done and making sure that we're going towards a path of truly universal dental care coverage, going down a path of healthcare coverage that includes our whole bodies. That's what we believe in the NDP. So we're not duplicating, it's building off, it's expanding and it's growing, and it's realizing that folks are struggling. Many folks are living in pain. It's burdening our healthcare system because pain that could have been prevented by seeing a dentist regularly is being exacerbated, and folks need to now go to the emergency room. We're expanding this program and including more folks under it.
Okay, Mr. Fraser, I want to move on to an aspect of your platform that addresses affordability that I know a lot of Ontarians are talking about. That's around housing. You make a number of proposals where housing is concerned, but I want to ask about one specific area. That's around exclusionary zoning. Sounds complicated, but it's essentially what kind of blocks things like multifamily triplexes and fourplexes, low-rise walk-ups from being built. All your party will say at this point is that it will work with municipalities on that issue to break that barrier down. But if you can't commit to getting rid of it, how sound are your policies on actually, like, how much more affordable are you actually making housing for Ontarians?
Well, look, there's no question that we have to intensify our neighborhoods, but we have to do it in a way that we can work with municipalities and communities to make sure that what we're doing fits and that it's right. And so it's not for the provincial government to dictate to municipalities and to communities what they're going to do. It's to work with them to get them to come along to make sure that we can increase the density in our neighborhoods, make use of our infrastructure, reduce carbon emissions. That's what that policy is all about. We're going to return to real rent control that Doug Ford took away. I think that's an important part of our affordability plan for housing. And then build 138,000 deeply affordable homes. I mean, those are the things I think that people are looking for. When it comes to housing, there's no one solution to that. There's no easy solution to that, but it's something that we need to get done. And if you take a look at the other things in our platform that, with regards to affordability, taking the provincial portion of the HST off prepared meals under $20, bucket ride transit, adding to the OAS gains, $1,000 a year. Those are the things I think that are going to make life more affordable for Ontarians. Doug Ford, this is the second time he's promised a cut to the gas tax. He did it at the time of the last election, and he's not doing it till after this election if he gets elected.
Okay, and those questions are for the Progressive Conservatives. Mine was about exclusionary zoning, and I take your point about not wanting to be, dictators to the municipalities. But the fact is, according to the province's own task force report, municipalities are playing outsized roles as an impediment to the development of the kind of housing that would be more affordable, that would drive down overall prices. Your party will not go so far as, for example, the Green Party would, to make sure that exclusionary zoning is less of a barrier. The report lays it out. It does play an outsized role. Why not? Are you sort of politically calculating that going against municipalities wouldn't be a good idea?
No, I think the right way to do things when it comes to where people live is to talk to the people who live there about how how their neighborhoods are going to change. And I think it's important that the development, I think most people do development that occurs within your neighborhood, fits inside the neighborhood, that it works, that the neighborhoods understand why you're doing that. And if you just dictate from downtown Toronto, which I know this government's used to doing, I don't think that's going to work out well. I don't think it's going to work out well for communities, and I don't think it's going to be very well received, not by municipalities, but by people who live in community.
Okay, I mean, they're the ones hoping for more affordable housing, but I take your point. Mr. Richter, I want to move on to you because your party plans, we talk about rebates right now. Your party plans to cancel the planned gas tax reduction and bring back license plate renewal fees. Given what we heard from the Bank of Canada, that costs are going to keep going up for a while. In fact, they don't even expect inflation to go back to normal rates till the end of next year. Do you really think something like taking away some money that has helped people, that could help people, is a sound decision, is one that's going to resonate with Ontarians who are really worried about the affordability of things?
Great question, Vashi. And people in Parry Sound, Muskoka, and across Ontario were actually asking themselves the question, did that rebate go to the right people? And when we look at those rebates going to people who already have, in many cases, so much wealth, and yet that rebate was missing or vulnerable. I've heard from people throughout our communities that the elderly who don't even own a vehicle, or those in marginalized and vulnerable situations, like a young lady between here and Parry Sound, from where I'm at Huntsville right now, who just escaped an abusive relationship, has 3 young children, living in a 1-bedroom apartment. She doesn't even. So what happened here with that rebate was it left out the very people who needed assistance. And yet we have other people who are receiving retroactively an amount of money that they felt ashamed about. And these are the heartfelt stories that are being shared. And coming out of the pandemic, I hear it time and time again that people are looking for a more caring way to move forward. And that involves looking out for one another and ensuring that, it's time to really look out for the people who actually need those kind of rebates or just need that extra assistance to get on level playing field.
Can't you do both? Can't you walk and chew gum at the same time? Can't you assist those who are most vulnerable and also assist those who are finding life less affordable?
Well, absolutely. And, sometimes it's hitting 2 targets that people want to hit. We want to look out for people who need the assistance, and those who already have the means, they want to see money being invested in the very infrastructure that that money could have been going to. I know so many people that say, that rebate's not going to do much, when that could have been going into the roads. Like up here in Muskoka and Parry Sound, potholes cause a lot of damage on a vehicle, and people going through a bearing job or struts or shocks, like that is a significant dent on the pocketbook. And if we can make sure that we look after the roads we already have, then we're going to make life for everyone that much more manageable and affordable.
All right, I have to leave it there. I do want to thank all 4 of you for participating in the discussion tonight. I know this issue is a really important one to Ontarians watching, and I wish all of you and your parties the best in the election, of course, which occurs tomorrow, voting tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Thanks very much to Prabmeet Sarkaria, Gurratan Singh, John Fraser, and Matt Richter. Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.